So we got Dick Grayson, we got Garfield, we got your girl Raven, and Starfire. How you feeling?
NERDSoul.
Late Ill Kid at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing you the Street Geek and Nerd Soul. What is up, my people, today? Oh yeah, we coming with another wonderful episode of That's Right On Screen. And just recently, DC Universe dropped that first episode. You know, we saw the trailer. We saw how Robin was looking. Dick Grayson was, saying he wasn't really feeling Batman. He was throwing some disrespect on his name. And the show we're talking about is Titans. And this is the first episode. I'll get to a verdict a little bit later at the very end and see how you guys think. Let me know what you're thinking about the show. But I just want to start talking about the characters in general. And, we got 4, so I'll deal with 2, and we'll deal with the other 2 in a second with some sprinkles in the middle. But I really want to get into your girl, Raven, or Rachel, as they call her in this, because we're just not calling her Raven yet. She's surrounded by mystery, and I'm not mad at that. We do see that there is, of course, an evil side, a darker side, something dark, black, icky, horror-y, creepy inside of her, but that also protects her. And I'm really not against that. I'm kind of feeling how they use the glass and the water and the reflections to see your true self or whatever, kind of reaching out to her, talking to her, guiding her, protecting her, warning her sometimes. I like how they played that out. Also, I was surprised of how they handled her mother, or her surrogate mother or foster mother. That did catch me off guard. But following her through this did seems slow at times, and not like a good direct slow or a very well-intentioned slow, but kind of just a where are we going type of slow, because we have all of these moving parts that seem to want a piece of Rachel or Raven, and you see her, of course, kind of out to sea on her own, really not having someone to hold on to, and gravitating towards, of course, Dick Grayson, and the pieces just don't seem to really lure you in, I think, how they really wanted it to. And now, since we're talking about Dick, we might as well get into how he fits into his whole vibe as an officer. He's in Detroit, he's a detective. He doesn't play well with others, of course. He's still moonlighting, as Robin. And the choreography here, I can't be mad at it. I'm feeling the choreography. I think the way they handled the scene, where you see it in its full entirety from the trailer, it's pretty well shot. And it's well played and pulled off. But once again, even here, there's something that feels like it's missing. And I'll talk about it in large part later on, but there's something about Dick Grayson that seems like it's missing. Maybe the way he's written, his character, his emotion, it just seems like he's lost something. And maybe that's something that we're supposed to get into later. But in this first episode, it just seems like the tank is empty. He doesn't have any love to give. He doesn't have any enthusiasm to give. He doesn't really have any friendship, any kind words, any warmth. And you see that fall and cloud over this whole show, where there is just a lack of, hope, love, warmth, anything, because everybody is just down and out. And just before the jump, I do want to say, when you're dealing with something that's down and out, they do a pretty good job of letting you know that nobody has any, hopes, aspirations, or anything. But it's weird. It's not displayed in a way where you feel sorry for them, but in a way where you're like, dag, is this show got anything else to give to us besides just the doom, the gloom, the darkness, the cloudy days? And not saying that this should be a happy, colorful show, but I don't feel like anybody feels good ever. And that starts to drag you down as a viewer, not in a way where it's like, man, I feel for these people, but just like, this is sort of becoming a chore to watch. When I do think there's some bright spots, like the fight scene, like Raven and her interaction with her mirrors and reflective surfaces. I think there's a lot to get there, but there is just so much kind of just sucking the life out of this show. And I'm assuming that this is what they're going for, but it just does something where when you're watching it, you're like, where are we going? Now, of course, I have two other people, which is Garfield and your girl Starfire, to get to in just a moment. But first, KURO Brand is going to help us pay them bills. Oh yeah, check the link below. Hats, shirts, hoodies, all that jazz. And once you find something you like, of course, cop it. So let's get into, I want to touch on Garfield real quick because he has a very small part in this show. My problem with him isn't technically the acting, because he really hasn't done enough acting in this episode yet. It's how they're playing the effects. In this show, you'll see, and if you haven't checked it out, you know, of course, this is reaction review. By this time, you know that I'm kind of spoiling stuff. This is what a reaction is, dude. But they hide a lot of the effects in the darkness. And I'm not a fan of that all the time, because you can't do that forever. And the more that you hide effects in the dark, the more it highlights, especially in these days where we get so many effects, the more it highlights that you just are trying to either just get past the scene, or you're just trying to like hide it from us, or you're just trying to like fudge some errors that you have here or there with your actual render of the effect that you're trying to do. With something like this, with a character such as, I know it's tough to do because you have someone who is changing from a human into an animal and back and forth. But maybe another creative way to have him change instead of the full kind of like werewolf type thing, because it's almost very, very pronounced and very noticeable that you're trying to hide it in the darkness. Now, I mean, we might see some bright shots later, but in this one, it definitely feels like they're trying to hide it. Now, as far as his character, I don't know why he would go through what he went through just to steal that video game. It seems like he did it in a very intelligent and a much smarter way. And Gar is smart, man. Like, Beast Boy is mad smart. I don't know why he would have did it that way, except for the fact to try to show off the effects to us, the viewer. But that could have been done way more slick than the way he did it. But I'm gonna leave that alone. Guys, let me know what you thought about Beast Boy, because I'm on the fence with that too. And you're seeing how I'm on the fence with this whole show. But let's talk about Starfire, who, along with Raven, had the most interesting story to me. Raven, of course, is surrounded by, mystery. And are we going to see her parents? Will we not see her parents? What will they be when we see them? Why does everybody want to kill her? All these kind of things. There's so much mystery wrapped around her, and her just trying to figure herself out, her powers out, whatever they are, And then we have Starfire, who, when we catch up to her, she's definitely on her amnesia tip. And I like her retracing her steps through this. I think it's pretty cool. I like how she's going and beating up people and trying to kick butt to the truth. It's almost kind of like a John Wickian way to figure out who you were, or what you were doing, or whatever. And I think Starfire, with Starfire and Raven, and I'll talk about these in a second, with Starfire and Raven, we get our best scenes in this show, or in this episode, and maybe in the show as a whole, and they were very, very cool. But I like how Starfire plays out being smart enough to know something's wrong, but not letting it off or letting it on to other people. And I like how we kind of saw her chart her own path and see her use her intelligence. Like, we were kind of walking along with her, learning along with her, and seeing how she reasoned out where she was, what she was doing, who she was with. And that's, for me, a bright spot in this episode. I'm always into, people trying to figure out where they were, or doing a sort of kind of detective or investigative kind of theme or kind of attitude or character path through something. And this, I feel like they did it. I feel like they held it down with this. Now, let me talk about the two scenes that I thought were the best in this show. Didn't have to do with Changeling. Didn't have to do with Robin. The horror scene with Raven, that was kind of creepy and kind of weird and kind of nasty. And it was dope. I like that, how to protect herself, the evil part of Raven jumped into the dude and killed him from the inside out. That was fresh. And then Starfire, when she straight burned, flambéed all them dudes in front of her. Even though I was like, yo, what about the bookcase and all that stuff? But look, just don't ask no questions, man. It's a TV show. But the way she burned them dudes, I thought that was dope. The way she started to glow, the way she lit up, yo, that was that flavor. That's where I'm like, those are the dope parts of the show that make me want to watch. Now, as a whole, putting this all together, how do I feel about it? Well, I don't know. It's weird because I don't think this show is a flagship show to sell this service. Now, I know that Titans isn't the only thing that's going to be selling this service. We're going to be having Young Justice soon. Also, we're getting all these comic books and animated series and older movies from DC. DC Universe is going to have tons of stuff. But when you're dealing with something like this, the only thing that I can compare it to is CBS All Access at this time. And CBS All Access has Star Trek Discovery. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think that CBS All Access is worth getting just because of Star Trek Discovery. But I will say this, Star Trek Discovery is a flagship show. It's well acted, it's well directed, and it looks amazing. On the flip side, Titans doesn't have that luster to it. It doesn't have that shine, it doesn't have that polish, it doesn't have that emotion. It's not pulling me in the way Star Trek did. And it's sad. Because I've been waiting for Titans for quite some time, and I'm sure you guys have been too. Titans was rumored to be on TNT, and then it was going to be on this show and that station and blah, blah, blah. And it's been going through development forever. And we finally got it. And I feel like it's all right. It's not bad. It's not good. It's all right. And when you want to hang your hat on a show that is going to be the first outing that's going to be brand new original content for your streaming service, I don't think Titans is it, man. Now, with that said, they do have some bright spots in there that I think they can build on, and this can become that show. But this first episode is not the flavor, man. Like, you got that one scene with Raven and that one scene with Starfire. Starfire also kind of like retracing her steps. That was cool. But that's a much smaller part of a whole that didn't really do it for me. And it's not that it was horrible. It just wasn't great. And is that enough? Is okay enough for a service that doesn't particularly need Titans? Because you have, all of the DC movies, animated and live action. You have comics. You have Young Justice coming. Is it what they need? Is it all they need? Will this do it for them? I don't know. Holler at me. I'm gonna holler at you. Down in them comments, let's talk Titans. I'm not mad at the show. And I think the show could go somewhere, but it's not a flagship show, at least not yet. So I'm gonna tell you guys to hit up ThatNERDSoul.com. That's right, check me out right there. All my videos from the oldest, newest, latest, greatest, and all that. Then hit up shop.ThatNERDSoul.com and pick yourself up a t-shirt player. Don't forget to get one for them playettes. Then come back here, like, comment, subscribe, and share that Nerd Soul. That's right, there's no better way that I can show people that you, like what you are watching. So LA, what up? VA, what up? RVA, you got my heart. And please be good to yourselves. Please be good to each other. And remember, never, ever point a firearm at Starfire. It ain't good for your health. Peace.